Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Intuitive Angling from the tackle room here. It's about midnight where I'm filming this video tonight, so appreciate you guys taking a little bit of time to check it out today. And today I'm going to give you guys a real good video. I'm going to do a comparison between the rock crawler and the wiggle wart, two of the staple Coldwater crankbaits. They've got both of them got a really big cult following, and I'm going to sort of break down and give you guys my honest opinion of the two from using them, and to let you guys know which one is probably better for you guys to try to use. Like I said, one of the things I'm going to say about these two lures here, the wiggle wart and the rock crawler, is that everybody uses these things. I don't care, everybody knows I'm sponsored by Mega Bass. I don't care if guys or pros out there are sponsored by Strike King or whatever. Everybody out there uses wiggle warts or rock crawlers simply because they're two of the most unique crankbaits out there. And the thing that's really strange about it is there's been a lot of companies that have tried to knock off the effectiveness of the wiggle wart, and nobody has really done it. I mean, nobody's really come up with the exact duplicate of what made the wiggle wart so good. So first of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the wiggle wart. Let's talk about this. The fame that the wiggle wart gained was when this bait first came out, and probably about 10 to 15 years after that. I'm not sure what the deal is, if it had a different mold or whatever, but ever since they changed the mold, it's been about probably 15 years ago or so, the new wiggle warts, guys, are crap. The wiggle warts that are, if you guys see a wiggle wart for sale at Bass Pro Shop or Tackle Warehouse or any tackle store you go to, Walmart, they're just a piece of crap. They compared to the old one, they're just, they're going to catch some fish, but they can't duplicate the old one. This one right here is probably about a, over 20-year-old wiggle wart. And if you guys, and that's why they sell for fortune on eBay, because they don't make the old wiggle wart anymore. And the difference is the side-to-side action that this bait had. I mean, a bait like the old wiggle wart would wiggle almost to this degree here, versus the new ones, which just sort of go like that. I don't understand why a company like Storm would have such an incredible bait with such a massive following and put out such a crappy product now compared to the old wiggle wart. I just don't understand it. It's like I'd be firing some people right and left if I was at that company until they came up with the right thing. So anyway, what happened is a lot of companies have tried to duplicate it, and the only company that has really sort of come close to it was Spro with the rock crawler here. See, they're pretty similar. The rock crawler is a little bit bigger, a little bit different lip configuration, and the rock crawler, it basically, I'm not sure. I'm just speculating here, but to me, it was designed to compete against the wiggle wart. The rock crawler, there's two elements too that's different. Number one, it will run deeper than a wiggle wart out of the box. You can see the lips a little bit larger, so it runs considerably deeper, and but it doesn't have that same real wide wobble like the old wiggle warts. It's got a little bit wider wobble than the new wiggle warts, but not as wide as the old one. But the reason that the rock crawler has gained fame lately is, number one, it runs deeper so guys can fish it on heavier line, and it comes in some pretty good color patterns too. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about which one's better. Which is the better bait, the wiggle wart or the rock crawler? Here's my opinion on the thing like this. And the wiggle wart, it's sort of like the square bill crankbait and the jerk bait. The fame that these baits have gathered has come from the Ozark lakes where I'm from. Table Rock Lake, Bull Shoals Lake, Beaver Lake, a lot of the Ozark lakes. This is just where this bait gained fame. The thing about the old wiggle warts is, number one, the bait, how it deflects off a rock. That's what makes this so effective, because the old wiggle warts, they would just go crazy side to side. You could reel them fast, and they just deflect off rocks everywhere. Crawfish patterns, a lot of crawfish in the Ozark lakes, and in the cold weather months during the pre-spawn, super, super effective. Now, the rock crawler, the difference on the rock crawler versus the wiggle wart is the wiggle wart, if you're fishing it on 10 to 12 pound test line, it's gonna get down in there into that 7 to 8 foot zone on a long cast, maybe 6 to 7 foot zone for the most part. Whereas the rock crawler on the same line, it's going to be, running 10 feet plus on a long cast. So the advantage that the rock crawler has over the wiggle wart is the fact that it will reach depths that the wiggle wart won't on the same line. Now I can take a wiggle wart and put it on 6 to 8 pound test line, and I can reach the same depth with it as you can with a rock crawler. I fish my wiggle warts on spinning rods most of the time, because the reason I do that, and I'll talk about this in a later video, is that you can make longer casts, you can get it deeper, and I think you have a better feel of the bait bouncing through those rocks with a spinning rod, like a 7 foot type of 7 foot, medium action, medium heavy action spinning rod. Like I said, the rock crawler, you don't really need to do that because it's just designed to run a little bit deeper. In my opinion, there's two variables here which determine which one of these is better. If you're fishing the new wiggle wart, the ones that are like, and I'm not sure when the mold change took place. You guys, a lot of you guys out there may know even more than I do. I'm guessing it took place about 10 to 15 years ago. If you're fishing with a new wiggle wart, the rock crawler is going to outproduce it by far. It's a superior bait to the new wiggle wart. The new wiggle warts cannot compete against a rock crawler in that situation. But if you have an old wiggle wart like this one right here, or one that's even older, let me see if I can dig one out of my box here to show you what a real old one looks like. Here's one right here. This one right here is probably 30 to 35 years old right here, this wiggle wart. If you have an old wiggle wart like this up against a rock crawler like that, the rock crawler can't touch it. The old wiggle wart is going to beat it every single time, simply because of the action this bait has. They can't. There's no duplicate with that. So, and these are when I'm talking about it's gonna outproduce it, most of the time. There's no absolutes in fishing, because while if you fish it for 20 hours, you're going to catch more fish on one over the other versus, based upon what I'm talking about. But there's always personality differences in the bass. Sometimes the bass, based upon water clarity, wind, sky conditions, that type of stuff, sometimes they just will prefer a certain wobble over another. And there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. But what I'm talking about is most of the time. So finally, without going into a 2-hour video, when you're talking about which is better, wiggle wart or rock crawler, the old wiggle wart is the better bait by far. Can't compete with it. If you're one of those anglers that don't have the old wiggle warts, you'd probably be better off going with the rock crawler. You're going to catch more fish on the rock crawler because, again, the new wiggle warts are crappy. I'm just telling you like it is, guys. So that's my opinion on it. I've used both of them. I've got a lot of decades of experience fishing the wiggle warts. Fish catching bait, one of the things that really amazes me about a wiggle wart is, like, if you go down to Table Rock Lake, that's all you see dudes throwing a lot of times in cold weather conditions. It's just like, you think the bass would get so conditioned to a wiggle wart they'd never touch it again. But for whatever reason, it's one of those baits that just year in, year out, it keeps producing over and over again. And I don't quite understand it, because, like I said, the wiggle wart gets fished so much on the Ozark lakes that I just feel that the bass ought to get conditioned to those things, and they don't. There's just something about it, that the bass, it just really, really triggers their strike reflex. So that's my analyzation of it, guys. There's a time and place for both of them. Again, don't waste your money on the new wiggle warts. Yeah, they're going to get you some bites and they're going to catch you some fish, but there's other baits better than that. If you can find some of the old ones, or if somebody can talk Storm into building them like they used to, then that would be a better deal. But anyway, again, like I said, it's a bait everybody uses. There's not a single pro out there that does not use these two baits at some point in time if they fish across the country. So quick video here on opinion on that. Give them a try. It's this time of year. This is the time of year they start biting them, up and for another 3 months. So just a little few tips there. Hope it helps you guys catching me a few more fish, and we'll talk to you later.